Good afternoon, Michael here. Welcome back to the channel. We're February 27, 30 minutes past noon here in Europe time. So US markets will open in about 4 hours, which means that today we're working with the closing data of last Friday. Um, you remember maybe from video 27, I believe last Thursday or Wednesday, where I predicted that all the stock exchanges and traders are actually waiting for any event whatsoever, and that would steer the activities in the directions. If it would be a more negative event, we'd be going into a more bearish market, and with a positive event, we'd see the celebrations coming back that we've seen already over the first two trading months of this year. What we see is that the inflation worries keep being a bit more persistent than we would like to see. And the event that we're waiting for has occurred then last Friday, where the inflation numbers in the United States are a bit more higher than we would like to see. And then that combined on the same day with the inflation data in Germany, which is not positive either, makes all the exchanges stay in the trenches where they were already. And as I predicted, I can see this going on for a couple of weeks, which is bad news if you make videos, because if there's no news, there's also nothing to share. So to keep busy then, what I've done is I've added a new feature to the watch list. Before I show you that, let's as usual go a little bit into the dashboard to see where we are. We did see some nice numbers last Friday in terms of movers. My apologies for these screens, but there's something wrong again at the Microsoft OneDrive side. Nice movers, Kratos even 13%. But if we look at the sweet spot, where last Friday we had four shares, US shares in the US sweet spot, as of today, that is only two, Airbnb and Twink Hostess Brands. Nice spreads though, ranging between 12 and 17.45%, but obviously I always like to see a little bit more candidates in here. So you can also see I'm keeping up to date with the file. I've done a lot of catching up. Um, and if we look at the left hand side here, we see that the trend where the number of shares with a rating of reduce or sell had been decreasing up to where it was quite consistently hovering around the 5%. Now we see that increasing again up to 15%, and probably that has also to do with I was just mentioning right here that the markets are retreating into a bearish position. So not much news here. So let's have a look what I've been changing in the watch list here. What I've added now is I'm keeping every day an archive of the data from the day before, which means that I can compare the current rating with the rating as it was on the day before or on the previous trading day. Now, I'm only showing these tickers here for the shares that have a rating of accumulate today. If we browse down a little bit here, we start seeing the holds and the reduce. There I'm not showing that because it's not interesting. What I'm interested in is to see for those shares that have a rating of accumulate or buy today, what their rating was yesterday. And particularly, I'm interested in the rating increases. So I'm interested in those shares that have a rating today of accumulate or buy, and that had a rating of hold, or even better, reduce yesterday. Let's maybe do a little sort here and see what that brings. Yeah. does not seem correct. Let's try that again. That's why. So I'd like to see first what the previous rating was, and then the rating of today. There we go. So what we see here is we've got actually one share that has increased in rating from reduce to accumulate today or over the weekend, which is Snap-on Incorporated. Unfortunately, the spread is very small, but it could also mean that we're close to breaking this first resistance and that we're then in for a rally of a couple of more percentages. So that's what we're really interested in to see. And then all the rest, we've got, I don't know, let's count them a little bit here. We've got 24 shares that have had an increase in rating from hold to accumulate, and then the rest, of course, they were already on accumulate or they have a rating today that we're not interested in. So if I would be giving investment advice, which of course I don't because I don't know what I'm doing, my advice to your professional advisor would be to keep an eye on this one over the next couple of days and see what happens here. Either it falls back and then it goes off the radar, or it breaks this resistance, and we might get a higher spread here that drops it into the sweet spot. Here we've got one of the two of the sweet spots and the Hostess brands. We've seen that one here, the number 2, and the Airbnb should be somewhere in here as well. So I hope that that will help me in the next couple of days and weeks to identify even more interesting shares or changes in their position that could be interesting to you. Obviously, you can pause this video at any time to have a look what's on the screen here, and feel free to do so. Just be aware that investing in these shares is completely at your own risk. Don't use whatever I'm telling you here as investment advice, because again, I do not know what I'm doing. Just hobbying around a bit here and trying to do something useful for myself. Having said that, we'll be again tomorrow, probably again with no more news, but we'll see. As I'm often wrong, let's hope I'm wrong again today and that there is news again tomorrow. In either case, thank you very much for watching today, and I'll welcome you back tomorrow.